One very foggy night at the start of March 2024, a Texas A&M University sophomore just vanished in the middle of the night, smack dab at the center of his highly secure apartment complex parking lot with security cameras everywhere. The only clue the 21-year-old student left behind was an eerie Snapchat of a bridge moments before he disappeared. This is the strange disappearance of Caleb Harris from Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm Joseph Morris, and this is my beautiful co-host, Miss Gabby. So if you want to hang out with me and Miss Gabby and discuss some true crime and breaking news, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. And let's investigate this together. I want to preface this by saying that Caleb could very well still be alive. So anyone with any tip, no matter how big or small, is encouraged to submit them in the description below. Caleb Harris is by all accounts a great young man. Standing at 5'11 and weighing at 180 pounds, he was a solid guy who was very strong and capable. According to his family, the new Braunfels Christian Academy graduate rarely partied and was an outdoorsman who preferred to go to bed early so he could wake up the next day before sunrise and hunt some ducks. So as you can probably tell, he loved to hunt and fish. So it was very fitting of him to study environmental science at Texas A&M University, where he was in his second year. He was very much loved by his family and had a very close relationship with his younger sister. His family are deeply religious, and so was Caleb. There were reports that Caleb wore a Jesus fish necklace the night he vanished. When Caleb went away to go study, him and his family chose an apartment complex called the Cottages at Corpus Christi, located in the 1900 block of Ennis Jocelyn. It had other university students there, and it was perceived as highly secure with surveillance cameras at the gates. And there was only two ways in and out of the apartment complex. Caleb lived there with two of his close friends he grew up with, who were now his roommates. But then one night, Caleb just vanished after ordering Uber Eats and left behind some very mysterious clues that make this case incredibly interesting as it is perplexing. Some say he actually vanished as he was waiting outside for his Uber Eats delivery. The family says they accounted for all of his shoes, so one could assume he was barefoot when he disappeared. So it seems as though his disappearance wasn't planned, and he had no history of any mental illness and wasn't taking medication. But as others pointed out, Caleb could have had a pair of flip-flops his family didn't know about. But let's get into the timeline of the night he disappeared. The story starts on Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, when Caleb was gearing up for a fishing trip. He was texting his dad all day, excited about his upcoming trip the next day after class. Nighttime rolled around, and Caleb and his roommates were up late playing video games. But it wasn't like any typical Sunday night because one of the roommates had just gotten a new puppy, which arrived at around 10:30 p.m. So they were up late enjoying their new pup and walking it around the apartment complex. At 12:56 a.m. on Monday, March 4th, a Ring doorbell camera caught Caleb outside barefoot playing with the new puppy with his roommates. The Ring camera was facing the parking lot outside their apartment. There were two exits out of his apartment, one that led to the parking lot and another to a grassy area. The video captured nothing out of the ordinary, and they seemed to all be having a good time, very much enjoying their newfound love for their puppy. So at 2:20 a.m., one of the roommates said they were going to bed, and Caleb told them that he had some more work to do to prepare for his fishing trip the next day. Namely, he wanted to order some Uber Eats so he had something to eat for his trip. Then he took the new puppy outside for another walk on his own and used the entrance to the grassy area since he wasn't caught on Ring doorbell camera footage this time around. So during this walk at 2:44 a.m., he sent a Snapchat video to his younger sister of him barefoot walking the dog. Then at 2:45 a.m., Caleb made his Uber Eats order, opting for a no contact delivery, and he ordered 2 Lunchables, a Red Bull, and an apple pie from a convenience store. Then at 2:58 a.m., his phone turns off. I mean, so this is a little weird, but he either shut it off or it died. Law enforcement has not released that information, and I'm not too sure if they can even tell. According to Caleb's father, he brought the dog back into the apartment sometime after 3 a.m. And here's something that I found really strange and honestly gives me chills as I'm saying it. Caleb sent his final Snapchat, the photo of the bridge, to a seemingly random high school friend from St. Augustine, Texas at 3:03 a.m., a full 5 minutes after his phone had been shut off. So this high school friend barely used Snapchat, and him and Caleb didn't really communicate often. So again, it was like a random person he sent this somewhat of a distress call out to. But when the high school friend opened Snapchat, he saw a new snap from Caleb after this friend knew Caleb had disappeared. So this friend knew to screenshot the snap for evidence. So there could be some technical reasons behind why the snap was sent after Caleb had shut off his phone, because apparently Snap users may receive images later than they were sent, but the time discrepancy is still unexplained. 3 months later, like, did someone log into Caleb's Snapchat account to send this snap? And I mean, this photo is just so haunting and really is what drew me into this case to begin with. It's of a bridge over a drainage ditch. This bridge is within a few hundred feet outside of the apartment complex. It really captured just how foggy it was that night, and the photo was blurry. That really stood out to me. Almost as if Caleb didn't have time to use the focus feature on the app. Like he had to take this photo super quick. Because normally Snapchat would focus the photo for you within a couple of seconds of opening the camera function. So I can't help but feel like this was a major clue. Like this photo is a major clue, like it was in the Libby and Abby case from Delphi, Indiana. It's almost as if Caleb was trying to tell us something. So behind the bridge is a highway. So was he being abducted at that point and being led to a car to be driven off and sent this photo in like a rush, hoping someone could help him? Like, this is what I imagine. And this is just my imagine going off on a tangent. I imagine him meeting somebody he didn't know, and then that person didn't turn out to be the person that they said they were. And he started to freak out, and maybe he was being held at, pow pow point or whatever. I just get this vibe that like he was going to meet somebody and that person was like a catfish and took him into their car. And maybe he was too polite to say no, but he's like, I'm getting a sketchy vibe right now. Anyway, that's the vibe I got from it, at least. Though some people think Caleb may have just been trying to be artsy and take a cool photo of the fog, but I don't think so because it was out of focus and looked very rushed. Also, my main question is, why did he go to this bridge? He really had no reason to leave his apartment complex and go there. I mean, he just ordered Uber Eats, so he was pretty much going to a bridge as his Uber Eats was on its way for delivery. Then Caleb's phone pinged for its very last time at 3:12 a.m. But cops believe this was a glitch, and more on that later. Then at 3:20 a.m., the Uber Eats driver drops off Caleb's order without Caleb there and just like leaves it outside his apartment. So really, if I'm just doing some math here, we are looking at a 22-minute window of when something inexplicable happened to Caleb. I mean, he just looks like he vanished off the face of the earth. The roommates woke up the next day and found Caleb's Uber Eats still waiting for him in the bag outside their apartment. They were alarmed when they realized his truck, keys, and wallet were all still there. And the roommates did the right thing and called authorities to report Caleb missing at around 1 p.m. after searching for their childhood friend desperately, and they're still devastated to this day. The cops arrived and questioned the roommates as well as the Uber driver, and they were all cleared. There are reports that the roommates took a voluntary lie detector test and passed. The cops also began searching the apartment complex and checked over 30 apartments. Authorities are asking the public for any tips they may have and tried tracking down any surveillance footage from the morning of Monday, March 4th. However, most of that footage that they tracked down wasn't helpful because of the fog that night. The cameras only captured like a couple feet in front of their lenses. But remember how the apartment complex was marketed as a secure place for students? Well, it turns out the security cameras at the gates were not working, and the gates were left wide open that night for anyone to just walk on into the complex. And this is a good time to mention that Corpus Christi kind of has this seedy underbelly that I didn't even know about. Like, there's a lot of like trafficking there and a lot of like disenfranchised people. Anyway, the community banded together and searched the area by foot, along with authorities using professional techniques, including helicopters. So it sounds to me like every square inch of Corpus Christi was searched, and 3 months later, there's still no trace of Caleb. The drainage ditch seen in his final Snapchat was, of course, scoured, but it barely had any water in it, so it was mostly mud, and there were no tracks. And of course, no Caleb. I mean, there was volunteer searchers. They did such an awesome job, to be honest, it sounds like. But they canvassed the area and they found that there was no tire marks to indicate a car picked Caleb up and sped away. So searchers also paid particular attention to the area of that last ping at 3:12 a.m. They spent a lot of manpower in that area. Then law authorities later revealed that they believe it was a glitch. And I've heard from law authorities in previous cases that most of the time those glitches happen was because someone was in a car. Again, I'm getting chills here. So I believe that Caleb at 3:12 a.m., around 10 minutes later after his phone shut off, was being taken away. And that's why his phone glitched out. But there are some really troubling theories in this case, and I will get into those now. 3 months later, just yesterday actually, if you're watching this now, Caleb's phone began pinging again. And law enforcement went on record to say that this was because of forensic testing. Law enforcement are in the process of collecting digital evidence in the case, which includes probably geofencing the area Caleb was last seen and tracking down phones that were in the location the night Caleb disappeared. But at the same time Caleb's phone was pinging, it's a coincidence that a civilian discovered a phone at Packery Jetty, a 17-minute drive away, and many people believe that this actually could be Caleb's phone, but this has yet to be confirmed, and they're currently testing it. There's also many users pointing out similar disappearances in South Texas, including that of Jason Landry. Interestingly, Jason was also 21, and his abandoned car was found on a desolate road on December 13th, 2020, with his clothes inside and absolutely no trace of him anywhere. According to his own father, the last app he used was also Snapchat, and many people feel that he was there to meet somebody. So this next theory, I want to be very clear that this is not 100% confirmed. But according to Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube, the family and law enforcement are aware of Caleb Harris's secret Reddit account. Caleb was allegedly using Reddit to meet people for adult activities. This account would often post in a Reddit group called Corpus Christi Not Safe for Work, where strangers would meet other strangers online for fun. Many people feel that this account, called Outside Physics 1635, is Caleb because of his age being 21, and also his final post was on the same night Caleb disappeared. The post was titled Oso Bay Hiking Trail, and it was posted on March 4th, 2024 at 2:15 a.m. It was tagged M4A, which means man for anyone, so male or female encounters. There's also pictures on this account that I can't show that some people believe show Caleb's bracelet in it, but I'm still on the fence about if this is true or not because the bracelets look different to me. But this Reddit account theory is a prevailing theory in this case online, So it's worth mentioning. One Redditor wrote, "It hasn't been outright said by the family, most likely due to law enforcement, but Nicole Owens, the woman who runs the Facebook group under family's spokesperson, Tony Mathias, said, yes, please do not discuss in the group what was on his Reddit. I hate that it got around. Kept it a secret as long as possible." And then she apparently later deleted the post. So the working theory is that Caleb made this Reddit post before walking the dog, hoping to meet someone that night for a rendezvous. Then that person had a nefarious idea in mind and possibly abducted him. So I can't really confirm this, but apparently there was more comments on his post, and then that commenter later deleted all their comments and their account. So it's very sketchy. There's an address involved too with this one particular user. I honestly haven't looked too much into it just because it is just, a cyber sleuth theory. But I'd be interested to know if you guys have looked into it or if you have any of your own theories. Really, the point of this video was to bring more awareness to his case, since I feel it got overshadowed by Riley Strain as it happened around the same time. Hopefully we can get Caleb Harris's name and face out there, because law enforcement are desperate for any tips. Because as you can see, there isn't much to go off of in this case. I mean, he orders Uber Eats, goes outside, and then literally just disappears. So please leave a comment down below, your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit my face here. And lastly, if you have any cases you would like me and Gabby to investigate, you can always contact me by my email at josephmorriscontact@gmail.com, or leave a comment down below with your case suggestion. So me and Gabby say, let's roll the outro. It's time for a cookie, don't you think? She works for cookies. Bye, guys.